Druid, this hound is attacking you. Defeat him, for the Earth Mother, worthy foe indeed. But no task for your strength, your powers, your thighs. Okay.
Some warrior just ran up this guy and said that.
Wait, that was just text? Really?
Yeah, they just walked up to him and said that.
Welcome back to the Tangent Podcast. This is your host, Yjang, and my co-host, Jeffrey, is about to get some tea. Right now, I'm making my tea, so this is like the little interlude stuff. Where have we been? Well, college season has just picked up, and we're now recording on September 9th. We're recording in September, and it's been a while.
I'm back.
There you go.
So what kind of tea are you drinking? Do you have?
Well, at my school, they have Tazo. They have like a bunch of Starbucks brand, and they give out free tea. And this one's a Tazo brand called Passion Fruit, and it tastes delicious.
Yeah, I don't really drink tea for the taste. I mostly drink it for just how it affects my mood. So I just got some standard green tea here. I made it last night, and the thermos here, it's about lukewarm right now, and I made this about 6 o'clock yesterday. So
AM or PM?
PM. I was making dinner at the time.
Oh, for the say, that's a really impressive thermos still. Either way.
Yeah. But it's still pretty good. So why did you disappear for a week?
Oh, great story. Well, we have to take it back to the first day I got here. So, welcome to the Tangent Podcast. It's your host, Yjang, and my co-host, Jeffrey. Say hi, Jeffrey.
Hey, just call me Jeff. Jeffrey's for my good friends and family. So yeah. Although, I mean, you can call me Jeffrey, but the viewers couldn't.
Yeah, viewers. You're only gonna call him Jeff from now on. That's the. But anyway,
my name's Jeff. His
name's Jeff. All right, so back to the question at hand. Where have I been for about a week? I'd say. Honestly, it was a lot of stress, anxiety, and depression, and also money stress in full force. So, just to give you a little idea, the first week I got here, I'm coming to a university that I have no one at all to bounce off of. I am basically on my own. Sure, there's maybe a couple people from school. I think only 3 people I've seen at most from, our school.
Yeah, but you probably don't know them too well,
Exactly. So, at the very least, I might know their names, but we weren't close. So really, I'm just me and myself. And when I first got here, it was a bunch of crap because it was a lot at once. And for a person like me, I'm already a person that juggles a lot of things in the air. And because of that, coming in here made it where I had to jump in 5 things at the same time. Because from what I understand, I'm probably one of the few freshmen that is taking the most amount of courses at the moment. It was a lot at once, and it's not so much about the class, but it was because I actually missed people when I first got here. Because when I was here, I was like, shoot, I don't have mom to just say hi. I don't have my aunt. I mean, even when I get calls from my home, it was a lot of oh, crap, we missed you because usually we come to you, but you're not here anymore. And that was a lot. They didn't say that until after I reached out to them. But the biggest thing was that I was basically on my own, and I had to figure out a lot at once because especially when it came to my books or announcements or money, that was stuff that I did by myself, but now I just had to take the full force. And honestly, I will tell you this. If I did not do the courses I did at my high school and the whole program I was in, I would be crying back to head home.
Really?
I absolutely believe it. I think when I got here, I'm prepared for the courses, but man, was I not prepared for being totally independent. I'm a semi-independent person, but this is the first time I really felt like you're on your own. If you need your friends, you're going to have to call and wait for them to come by to help you out, but you're really going to have to figure out yourself. And that was the biggest thing. And I kind of miss just being able to, say hi or meet someone just randomly, or even just be able to drive over to you or Kosi or anyone that was back at home.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, there's more I could talk about but I want to like hear from how it's going for you, since it's your first couple weeks of college.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first about your situation. I mean, I was pretty worried. I would like text you or message you and you wouldn't respond, and if you did, it'd be like a day later. So, I mean, and you said you were fine, but I don't know. I just still worried because you were off. Like, I knew you were by yourself there, and you didn't really have any of your friends. So that's happening with a lot of my friends who are going out of town for college. I just I don't want to say his name.
Yeah,
But I was texting another one of my friends who you know.
yeah.
And he was going on how about like it's just extremely stressful and he's having a really hard time because he's juggling 5 classes and a job and like all of his classes are like really hard. He's taken like 3 maths and stuff like that. So yeah, I was telling him like, dude, you should have taken like a like elective class or you shouldn't have your job. And then he's like, I need to have 5 classes to be a full-time student. And I was still saying like, yeah, he's at the one that's closer to us. Um yeah, he's at, I'll put it in the chat. He's there. What's it called? And they require 5 classes to be a full-time student, which is a bit crazy. So most of my friends who went out of town, I'm just worrying about them. And I mean, plus it does get a bit lonely sometimes because like I can't go drive over to your place or his place and just hang out with somebody anymore, you know? But college itself for me hasn't been that bad. I have like tomorrow, well, I'll just say all my classes. I have these are all like prereqs. I didn't really choose any of these. I just have to take them. I had to take a humanities class, and the best one the best sounding one was humanities prior to the 15th century. So we're gonna read some of the Divine Comedy. We're gonna read The Prince by Machiavelli. We're gonna read some of the Republic by Plato. So it seems like a pretty fun class because I've always wanted to read those books. The teacher seems pretty okay, even though he has a degree in IT. And this class was made sort of very late because the previous professor sort of quit. So that's gonna be something. But the first day of the class was pretty fun. I have statistics, which I thought this was gonna be my least favorite class, but I go in and it's this hybrid class where the professor isn't even gonna give any lectures. He just gave us this thing called like Alex or something like that. Yeah, it's just that, and all of the quizzes and tests are open. And there are deadlines. Like my first 3 quizzes are due like October 14th. But he said he has like at least one student per class who completes the entire course in like 2 weeks and then doesn't have to come back anymore. And I mean he doesn't take like attendance either because you don't really need to go. I have a chemistry class, which this one sucks because I signed up a little late for this one. So I was forced to take the night class, which goes from 5 till 7 on Thursdays. And on Tuesdays it goes from 5 till 9 because we go to the lab. I know. I tried to find any other time, but it was the only one that was really available on the campus I was trying to go to because there are multiple, you know. I at least made some friends in that class, which is nice because, I mean, there are some people from our school there. But it's nobody that I really know too much because most of my real friends have gone to other colleges, you know. I have economics, which is a hybrid class that only meets once a week on Thursdays. It's pretty good, except the teacher is from China and she has a pretty thick accent.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I had her before.
Is she good?
She's average. Honestly, you're gonna be better off if you want to like comprehension to just go online and find an economics course that you can get into. Like I did crash course economics that helped me get through the class because she's a nice lady, but
Yeah.
I understand that having a language barrier is going to be hard for anyone to really pick up. So that's why I can feel your pain, man. Like she's a nice person, or at the very least she's average, but you got to just go online, I guess, to better teach yourself.
Yeah, I mean, she even said like you don't need a textbook, just go online and like Google things if you need to. It'll come up. I had to take a speech class, so I'm taking fundamentals of public speaking, which is probably going to be one of my harder classes because, as you know, when I get very nervous or excited, I stutter. And we have three speeches we have to give. One is a how-to speech, one is a information speech, and one is a persuasive, and then we have a final at the very end.
Well,
Um,
if you ever want some tips on your speech from an award-winning public speaker, you know who to call.
We listen. The club we were in, I was in it for 4 years. Okay, I can publicly speak pretty well. What are you laughing at?
No, I'm just having fun. That's all. I'm just kind of fun to say like, oh yes, I'm an award-winning public speaker, but Jeff has been doing this for quite, for 4 years.
I've got experience. I'm like a grizzled old man. You're the young buck with like a
No,
college degree.
No.
I'm like, back in my day, you didn't need a degree to fucking talk to people, Sonny.
Wait. You can't even say that because I've been doing public speaking since like middle school. So
Well, yeah, all of us have been talking in front of other people since we were like 3.
okay, but have you gotten awards when you're in middle school?
Actually, I did get a award in middle school for the fourth best poem of the entire school. So I'm a award winner.
All right, we're both award winners. I guess we don't need to flex on each other.
Hey, ladies, I wrote poetry once. I'm a very sophisticated man. Please date me.
Oh.
Oh God, that's horrible.
Oh, speaking of the ladies.
Wait.
Huh?
I got one more class I gotta say, which
Okay.
is my brain just died. Give me a second.
Boop 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 boop.
Wait, no, that's it. Yeah, but you were gonna say something. Sorry.
No, I was about to say like, one of the funny things about my school is that the good thing about now I'm more comfortable with saying my university, at UCF. One of
University
the
of Central Florida.
in Orlando. But the thing about the UCF is that it's basically a bunch of people, and honestly, it's its own city, or it could be its own town in its own right, because like almost 70K people go to school there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's
There
kind
was
of
actually sorry, little side thing here. I went I went with my grandparents to get some food the other day because they wanted to see me, and we went to this local wing place, my favorite one. What's it called? And they were doing this trivia thing, and they said, "What Florida school has 60K attendance?" And I said UF, but I was wrong because it's
UCF. That's right. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. I wanted to go to UCF because it seemed like the better choice for my field. But the good thing about having like 60K people is the fact that there is a lot of opportunity here. Like there's so many clubs. For example, if there's the hacking club, there's the entrepreneur club, there's the programming club, there's the cookie club, there's what else? There was also the theater and poetry club and all kinds of stuff in between. I even saw an a cappella club. So it was a lot of stuff at once. But it's the one thing that has gotten me the farthest in this school is actually my business card. And you would think, like, why the hell would a business card help you? Well, here's a tip. If you're trying to go to a new place and you're a young person, I highly recommend having a business card because it has separated me from a lot of people and got me to talk to, like, counselors, professors, and even administrators in the school because they seem to take me more seriously. And on top of that, it allowed me to better network with other people because they know who I am. Even though I barely know anyone, there's a lot of times I can go up in this, just walking around or skating, and someone can say, "Hey, man," or "Hey, Yjang, what's up?" And I'm like, "Oh, hey, friend." It's kind of nice because people already know my MO and they kind of already respect me. The other thing that's actually kind of nice about being here is that, I was expecting dorm life to be kind of bad, but it's not really. It's nowhere as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was way better. I mean, for one, I know that I'm forced technically to be in a dorm, but I have like really good dorm mates. Shout out to my dorm mates. You know who you are. And being in the dorm allows me to like, get to talk to people and meet people, and even some of the people on our floor, I showed them about the podcast. So hopefully some of them are listening.
Hello, UCF people. Your college is good, I hear. Pandering.
Support the pod. But I mean, I'm having a good time, but the main thing that made it hard for me was really just a lot of the anxiety I had coming into it, because one of the things that happened for me when I was coming here was that I had a lot of anxiety about my major, because I'm choosing computer science, which is basically a bunch of math mixed with, programming and, computer theory and stuff like that. I'm okay with the programming part. I even meet people who are better than me, but we always work together. The hardest thing for me, and it's the challenge that that really just shakes me, is the math. Because if I don't get a B in my pre-calculus course, I instantly lose my bright futures because I'm less than a 3.0. Actually, I'd like to make a correction. I need to have a GPA of 2.75, and on top of that, I don't lose my bright futures until I make it up until next semester, which if I can't do that, then I lose it. But for right now, I basically need to make sure that my average GPA for the next 2 semesters is 3.75 or higher. I still got time, and this kind of shows you how stressed out I was. Okay then, well, back to the show. And because of that, it's really stressful because, for one, this whole Saturday, I did not go out. Everyone went to the football game from, I would say, 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. From 12 p.m. to 10 p.m., I was working on only math. And if I were to count away the times I was eating, I would say it was 7 hours of me just studying and going through all the math for this week and all of next week, so I can have extra time to study for the, big test on Friday. And then on top of that, I got into a course that luckily has a teacher that's part of a program, but at the same time, I feel as though that everyone's going faster than I am comprehending, so it's a lot that I have to catch up on. And it didn't make it any easier because in the beginning, I didn't have all my supplies. So while people already had their, textbooks and stuff ready for them, and this is not just only for my class, but also other classes, I was hoping that my financial aid would just come in so I can finally buy my stuff. I had to wait for 2 weeks for my Japanese textbook to come in, and people were already way ahead of me. And at this point, I didn't get to do 2 quizzes just because I don't have the textbook to learn Japanese. So it was a lot of stuff, and that made me feel oh crap, how the hell did I even get in here? Did I just lucked out, or did I just slip by at the bare minimum? And it got to the point where I was so, filled with anxiety that first, maybe, if I counted out, because I was doing a time tracking thing over the week, I spent 5 hours just sitting under the bed, laying down, coping with my depression. And it was a lot. And it got to the point where I was so filled with anxiety, I went to one of the on-school care center, which referred me to a general psychologist that they had here that was just trying to cope me down. The good thing is, they basically told me that I needed to just take a breath and try to relax. And this is something that you've told me over the podcast a couple episodes ago, that I just need some time to just decompress and, lie down. Although I want to do that, and I'm trying to find ways, it's a lot harder than it used to be because I'm now juggling a lot more than I expected to, and I'm kind of being pushed to my limits here. Because many times, whenever I feel I don't want to do this anymore, I want to quit, I want to leave the school, I just think about okay, I can leave, but I would have to figuratively pull the trigger on my head. But the only way I'm allowed to pull the trigger is if I can say without a doubt I gave it 100%. If I didn't, even if I felt I can do a little bit more, then I just had to suck it up, maybe lay down for a bit and just get back to it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that sometimes, but I don't know. You just kind of have to, well, I don't know. I'm trying to explain sort of how I do this. Like when I get a ton of anxiety and pressure and stuff, I don't know. I just become really calm and get it all done with. Like there's no. Usually, what goes through my head is there's no point in being anxious. There's no point in being nervous because it'll just make me be worse, and that sort of thing. So I usually just sit down, put on some music, and get my work done. And then afterwards, I can go get some tea, sit in my room, and just sort of like get it all out. Or well, mostly what I actually do is I get in my car and I just go take a drive around because that is how I deal with my like emotions. Or I go hang out with some friends that like that sort of thing. But it just sounds like you're pushing yourself really hard, which I know like there's a lot of pressure on you. But if you push yourself so hard that you break, you're not only going to fail at what was given to you, but you are also going to break as a person.
The reason why I kind of don't really subscribe to that thought so much is because for me, I feel as though that I could do a lot more in my abilities, but I have to balance out between overdoing it and at the same time pushing myself to keep on going when it sucks. It's like the same way how I feel about math. It's the same way how I feel about going to the gym, because it's something that I know makes me better at. For example, I like boxing, all right? I'm the person that I like to throw punches, and we talked about this before, but I know that if I were to work on my arms and my back, my boxing would be better because my muscles are they're prepped up. They're already been conditioned to do better at punching. The same way goes for math and programming. For me, I know that math in itself, for me, is basically useless. But the reason why I think it's important to me is not just because it's important for my major, but it's basically the same mental muscle you use to work your logic. And because math, in my opinion, I remember hearing this from a senior, one of the people I talked to, he told me that a good way to think about math when I don't like it is to think about math as logic class, because that's essentially what it is. And when I started thinking about it as logic class, it made me willing to do it, even though I don't want to, because I know that whenever I do work with math, it's the same, processes and the same pathways that make it able for me to do better at building a program faster, because I'm just thinking about it very logically.
Well, yeah, I don't think math is the only way to get logic. Although, I don't know. I don't think I'm a very logical person. I don't even like saying this because it sounds like I'm like boasting. But I think I'm more of a like wise person. I'm not very good at things like math or like even chemistry to like some degree. But I like the subjects I prefer, like English and history. I think it gives a different sort of knowledge compared to those. And math, I mean, you have to do it, but it just sort of gives me headaches.
I don't think that logic necessarily is only derived from math, but it's kind of like you can get strong at fighting by just fighting a lot, or you can get strong at fighting by doing a bunch of like tests on yourself. But one of the best ways to build up your muscles is to go to the gym. It's not the only way, but if you want to get strong, it's a good way. Now, that being said, I want to make this clear. God damn, is it hard as hell. Like, my God. I remember my first week of class. I'm going to have to send you a pic sometime after the show. I was so mad and so anxious at the subject that I was scribbling, "This is fine, everything's okay, I'm totally okay, this is normal, this is hard, but I can do this, and I was just writing it down throughout my entire notes. And at one moment I was drawing this giant like muscular figure where it had it looked like Sans from Undertale, but if he was like super buff. And there was like a little quote I put under it, it's like, "I will eat you alive." And I was like, shoot, I am really having it hard.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm hearing from you, it just sounds like you need to, I don't know, find like a way to calm down. Yeah, just find a way, I don't know, to sound like a monk, like find your inner peace or something. Just find a way to control yourself. Because, I mean, like, you just have to know when to let out your emotions. Because it's not good to bottle them up, but it's also not good to just let them out like at all times. You just have to know when to let them out. So yeah, I mean, I can understand getting angry at math because I don't like it either. And it doesn't make me angry. It just makes me sort of annoyed and gives me headaches. But you just have to sort of save it and
put it out at a time that's better. Like, for example, all that anger probably would have been better, much better at the gym or like boxing or something like that.
Oh, it works. Like, luckily the gym is, well, it's technically free, but it is free because, I'm paying for it through my tuition. So I have unlimited access to the gym as long as it's open. And man, like before I got on this to this recording, I was just coming back from the gym and skating. My little skateboard has been, between that and going to the gym, has been my big decompressor, and playing Animal Crossing. I got back to playing Animal Crossing, and it feels like the one thing that no matter what makes me happy between those three.
Yeah. Earlier you said you like went to like a psychiatrist and stuff. If you like ever need to like call or text me, man, I'm always open if you need to talk to me.
Well, it wasn't so much that, but it was more like I needed a licensed professional to tell me what were some steps that I needed to do. And the best thing he says to try to like, it's basically the same thing that we're talking about right now. Just find ways to decompress and at the same time realize that I got here because I was smart enough. And that was the biggest thing, because one of the things I have a feeling that other people go through, and I think it's really common, is like an imposter syndrome, where I feel like, how the hell did I even get here in the first place? Because it's a lot, and I thought that this would be something better for my more math engineering friends. And they tell me that, like, hey, man, you're smart enough to do it. You just need to do more of the grunt work in order for you to get used to it. The thing is, I think it's that because of my history of whenever, I think this is like the greatest work of karma in itself. Because of how hard I tried in my life to avoid how much math I needed to do to get through school, which I got through with, good marks. It feels like right now I'm going through like a giant reverse of karma, where congratulations, you held it off for this long. Now you get to eat it up in one gulp.
Well, you got to get through it sometime. Thankfully, my major doesn't call for many maths. I think I have to take 2.
Yeah, I think, what is it, like statistics and algebra, right?
I think it's statistics, because I took college algebra already with a dual enrollment, and that class wasn't terribly hard. And then I think I might have taken one more. I don't remember, but it was like statistics and like it was like trig or something like that.
Oh, pre-cal trig.
Yeah, something like that. So those classes don't sound terribly hard because they're not super advanced. But I just have to take a lot of like economics classes and stuff like that, which isn't hard because I'm good at math when it's like money and like stuff pre like 7th grade.
Yeah, applicable. Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this is so hard. Money? Oh, that's easy. I can know how to count.
Yeah, because like when a question asks me, what is the square root of C2x? It's like, what does that even mean? But it's like the other day, we did a like entrance exam sort of thing for my math class, and it was like, John goes to the store and spends $18 on fruit. He spends a total of $40 there. What percent of his money did he spend on fruit? And it was like 40% or something like that. I calculated it out, but that made sense to me, you know?
Yeah. I definitely get it.
Yeah. Also, on that exam, because I did fairly well on it, there are 38 modules for my stat class, and I've already completed 10 of them on the first day because I did well on that test. So I've completed like a little over a fourth of the class, which is nice.
And it's only been your first week or second week?
This is my first week.
Oh, so. Wow. Okay, shoot.
Yeah, so if I can finish this class by, say,
end
the
of
first
September?
quarter of next month, or the end of this month maybe, then I'll have a lot more time to study for the finals for my other classes, you know?
Shoot. Nah, man, I had to study since, like, what? I think I had classes the first week I got here, yeah. And that was in the August 28th, yeah, I think.
Yeah, my classes technically started the 31st, but that was a Friday, and I don't have any classes on Friday.
Oh,
so
well, yeah, I get you. There's nothing to do on. So yeah, you all your classes started literally this week. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry I had to cut the podcast so short. There's a lot going on this week, and at the same time, the weeks before, I was in a really good mental health, and a lot of the schoolwork I was starting to catch up after I was taking this long hiatus, which I gotta say, apologize for the hiatus, but we're going to be coming back with new episodes, mostly on a bi-weekly basis, because that's the best way for me to churn out on a more consistent level. But anyway, new episode will be going out on October 12th. Until then, this is Yjang of the Tangent Podcast, signing out.